Day 88, Monroeville, Alabama. So what's in Monroeville, are you going to ask? And you're going to be completely justified. Because as it turns out, hardly anyone knows that Monroeville, Alabama is the hometown of Harper Lee. Yes, that very Harper Lee who wrote that very book, To Kill a Mockingbird. So literally everything and everyone in the book are based on her real experiences. Monroeville is the prototype of Macomb, Alabama. Her own father is the prototype of Atticus Finch, and her father was a lawyer who argued many a case in the beautiful courthouse building in Monroeville. And she played there as a child, watching him from the balcony of the famous courtroom recreated in that famous Hollywood movie. And as it turns out, her childhood friend Truman Capote was the prototype of Dill, and his relative's house was literally next door to hers when they were growing up. So you see the aerial photo of the old Macomb, and you see exactly what was described in the book. Harper Lee's house and Dill's house and the road leading to the school and the schoolyard and the old tree. And it's just unfreaking believable. So I spent a wonderful morning in the courthouse looking at the exhibits and walking the halls and that very staircase and that very balcony that was described so vividly in the book. And the courthouse itself has a beautiful garden outside with a very nice sculpture of Depression-era children reading. And I also discovered that, I knew who Truman Capote was, but being Russian, we are inborn snobs when it comes to literature. So I've never read a thing by Truman Capote, but I was very taken by the exhibits dedicated to him, and especially the very touching moment where they showed his knitted blanket, his quilt, that was given to him by his distant relative, who was the prototype of a very specific character in many of his books. And he actually died holding that blanket. And then I resolved to read at least some things by Truman Capote. And I read Breakfast at Tiffany's, and I realized why Audrey Hepburn was simply perfect for playing the role of Holly Golightly. But anyway, so I walked around the courthouse, and then I walked around Macomb, and you see all these historical buildings right across the street from the courthouse. This is the one where there really was a jail. And right next door to it is the one that had the town newspaper on the second floor, of which there is a window overlooking a jail, through which in the book the newspaper editor was keeping watch on the mob that came to lynch the suspect. Anyway, it was just a very, very interesting and uplifting experience. So if you're ever in Alabama, I highly recommend visiting Monroeville and the Old Courthouse Museum. And I just realized that a lot of times, instead of saying Monroeville, I was saying Macomb. But that's just because they are essentially one and the same. So again, if you're ever in that area, I think it's a must. And then I couldn't help myself, and I went to see what is this supermarket chain called Piggly Wiggly is all about. And despite the name, it's just a regular supermarket, but who in the world came up with the name? That beats me. And then I did another detour again to the Gulf Islands National Seashore. First to see the famous UFO house in Pensacola Beach, and then just enjoying the drive and the beautiful sunset on the Gulf Coast. And I saw these funky birds that were running around like crazy in the surf, I guess picking up little crustaceans that washed up, but it was just very cute to see them trying to beat the waves. So that was my day in Alabama that ended in Florida.